Hey everybody, this is Dennis with onlinecoursecoupons.com, which is a website where you can find online courses from many of the instructors on Udemy and Skillshare. But today I'm going to share some advice for those of you that are instructors, and I have an instructor that's been around for quite a while. Today we have Eli Natoli with us. And she started out with her husband on Udemy in 2012, and then they've evolved that into a big business. And so I wanted to bring her on today, and we're going to talk about what is called Beyond Udemy. So Eli, thanks for joining me. I appreciate it. Go ahead and tell the viewers a little bit about yourself.
Hi, thank you for having me here, of course. So in my previous life, I used to be a web developer and a project manager. And my husband used to be a designer, user experience designer. So we sort of were running a software design and development company. And eventually, just like anybody else running, small businesses running a small company, we kind of got really burnt out. We were like always sort of overwhelmed with either being chained to our desk working or out there like hustling to get projects in. So eventually we thought, you know what, there has to be another way to make money. And that's how we eventually ventured into creating online training courses, and specifically started out with Udemy.
Good. Thank you for that introduction there. I find myself there. I got a little bit excited there, and when I went to just you, I almost hit the end broadcast button. So you kind of like gave, I guess, the segue into like the question that I was going to ask is like, kind of like let our viewers like know how you got that start and why you guys decided to go with something Udemy first. Even though we're going to be talking about Beyond Udemy, you got your start somewhere.
Yes. All right. Sorry if I got into your question. I got ahead of you. So like I said in my introduction, just like if you are any of you out there who are running a small business, and if just one of you or a couple of you, you know how it is, how overwhelming it is, because you don't have a marketing or sales team. You're doing everything yourself, and that was our reality. And so we decided, to figure out other ways to bring revenue in. And at the time, 5-6 years ago, there was a lot of buzz around online training, and there weren't that many platforms like Teachable or other platforms. Udemy was one of the main platforms out there, but they didn't have as many instructors as they do right now. So that was like the easiest way to start out, to have, our first online course created and roll it out on Udemy. And when we did, at the beginning was very slow, but eventually after a couple of months, we noticed that enrollments are coming through, and we were, making about 1,000 or 2,000 every month. So that seemed like a really good possibility for, running another type of business. And that was like 2,000 of, dollars of us doing absolutely nothing. So that's how we eventually, decided to do another course, and that paved the path for us to keep on creating online courses to where we are today, where in that business we have 5 online courses on Udemy. We have 5 online courses outside of Udemy, and then of course I started another business, which is my coaching business, and we have mentorship program, coaching program outside of Udemy, and then of course Udemy course.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think that that's something that, like, what we want to talk about is that a lot of instructors get their start on Udemy, and just like I got my start on Udemy, and then I started adding some stuff onto Skillshare, and now I'm doing a little bit of consulting because I have a course on chatbots. And when you start getting that stuff out there, then people start recognizing you. I've written a few books. I think that you said that you've written one book and you've got another one coming out too, I think.
Yes, I have another one coming out. My husband has written his own book. So we have 2 published books so far. Mine became Amazon bestseller in 4 countries. So absolutely. Yeah, it's always good to try to figure out other ways to bring in revenue, different income streams outside of Udemy.
Yeah, and we were talking before we came on that it's even led to a speaking engagement for you in Malaysia in front of right around 1,000 people, I think you said.
Absolutely. I mean, as a result of, just getting into online training and doing, starting out on Udemy, on my husband's side of business, he's like almost, I would say 5 or 6 times a year, he's traveling internationally. So he's an international speaker now. He does consulting gigs, and I'm doing the same thing. My business is a little bit newer. I just started my coaching about 1.5 years ago, and I have my own book published. I'm doing, like you just mentioned, I'm doing a speaking engagement coming up in a month, and I'm being asked to do, all these little small speaking engagements here locally as well. So just potentials are just endless.
Did the coaching come through like your students in your courses contacting you?
Some of them do. Some of them do. Yeah. Some of them do.
Yeah. Because, I mean, once you have like a skill or a topic, then people are going to be curious naturally about wanting to learn more.
So there's a key, the key element to that is you have to make sure that you don't just stay on Udemy. You don't just roll out courses on Udemy. You need to make sure that you have some sort of online presence outside of Udemy. There's evidence of you being authority in your own niche. You have to build your own brand, because people, if you did a good job with your Udemy courses, people will get curious. They will follow you. And there are other ways also to incentivize them to come over as well. But when they do, if you have other things to offer them, then, and if you did a great job of, giving them that value, giving them that outcome, the transformation that they were looking for, they want to learn more. They want to take the next step with you more. And those could be, coaching, it could be workshops, any other offers that you might have outside of Udemy.
Mm-hmm. Now, you went to Teachable with your courses. Did you take your Udemy courses and put them on Teachable, or something completely new on Teachable?
So yeah, completely different. So the way that I tell people to sort of go about using both Udemy and then doing stuff outside of Udemy is that, you definitely don't want to do the same thing, because as you know, Udemy discounts your courses to $10, $12, but then when you're outside of Udemy, you want to sell your courses for a lot more. So the way that you can sort of make it all work for you is that I always tell people, no matter what you're doing, right, it's always about you providing an outcome to your target audience, right? So let's say that you're a web developer and you teach people Python, right? At the end of the day, you got to walk people through a certain process, right? Step-by-step process to get them from beginner to a certain level, right? So I always tell people, look at your entire process from beginning to the end, and either, look at the overview, general overview of what you do, or take a, slice of what you do and put that on Udemy. You don't want to give away the whole house, right? And then create a more comprehensive, a more, complete beginning to the end outcome, and turn that into a product or an offer that you can sell outside of Udemy for a lot more than $10 or $14 that Udemy discounts it to.
Yeah, plus you have more control over things when you have courses on a site like Teachable or Thinkific, because Udemy owns the students, so they market to the students, and makes it a little bit more difficult because, I have thousands of students on Udemy, and I'm sure you and your husband do, but you can't, I mean, you can send out like promotional announcements and things like that, but you have to go through Udemy's system instead of like what you and I do. We talked about this on a conversation we had several days ago, is that we use ConvertKit for our email marketing, which is a very powerful tool. So I wanted to ask you, like, for people who are watching, I went with Thinkific, and the reason why I did that was because they had a free version to start out. Mm-hmm. But my thoughts on that is if you go with free and you're not paying for it, then you're less likely really to get things started, which is my case. So why did you go with Teachable, and what are some of the benefits you think of Teachable over something like Thinkific?
And honestly, I don't think the platform really matters. At the end of the day, I went with Teachable because that's the one that I saw a Facebook ad for it, and I was looking for a platform. I checked that out, and that's the one I went with because it had everything that I wanted. But I don't think the platform matters at all. It's all about the strategy. So no matter what platform you use, as long as you have the right strategy in place where you can actually not only tap into your Udemy students, because there is a way you can do that. Outside of Udemy also, you're able to build your platform. You're able to have ways, like you just mentioned, convert kids to have an email list, right? To, attract your potential customers, bring them over, get them on your list, engage with them, nurture them, have a way like a sales funnel to convert them. So it doesn't matter then. If you have that in place, if you have that strategy, then you can use whatever platform. Some of the clients that I work with, they have their own self-hosted ways of, they use like WordPress self-hosted platforms, and they pay nothing at all to sell their courses outside of Udemy. So platform really doesn't matter at all.
That's true, because there are ways that, that you can do online courses on like WordPress with a plugin.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that there's, besides Thinkific and Teachable, there are other platforms. So it's just a matter of finding what works best for you. So I was just like thinking about some of the questions that I wanted to ask. And my biggest thing when talking to instructors is an online presence. And you and I had that conversation in the call the conversation that we had a few days ago. Talk about the importance of having an online presence. And if somebody were to get started with that, where do you think it's important to start off first?
Well, I think having an online presence is crucial. If you are thinking about, not just being the one course creator on Udemy, if you're really after getting away, I don't know what your situation is. If their situation is getting away from their 9-to-5 job, getting away from their, corporate environment, or maybe running a business and they want to be able to make enough money, they don't have to worry about where the money comes from, then you got to think bigger than just creating courses and putting it on Udemy. And to do that, you need to have an online presence outside of Udemy. And I think the best way to start is you have to have a website. A lot of people gear towards social media, but at the end of the day, you don't own those platforms either. Have a website where people can actually figure out who you are. You can tell them about what kind of outcome you provide, what kind of transformation you provide, and also have a way to get people on your email list. Because at the end of the day, email list is the thing that you own, and that's the best way that you're going to sell your offers to people over and over and over again. And also nurture people to make them, to nurture them to the point where they are your tribe, they are your people. So I would start with a website, and I would also make sure that you have a way to get people on your email list through your website.
Mm-hmm. I see that we had a comment. It looks like somebody in the group that they like Teachable because they started with it first and they found it easy to use.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's extremely easy. Yeah.
And let's see. So Teachable. Nothing exists beyond Udemy. That said, Teachable made me thousands of dollars. Not sure quite what they mean by that, but let's see. Let's see if there's somebody said they're looking forward to it. So we talked about an online presence, and there was somebody that, and I think I was telling you, like an online instructor was talking about how they were struggling on Udemy with their sales, and I asked them if they had sent out a promo announcement or, are you building a following or anything like that? And I don't think that they had anything like that. And what do you think? If somebody's on Udemy, it's probably important to start building that into online presence and audience now before jumping to Teachable or Thinkific, right?
Absolutely. So I think, you brought up a really good point. And to me, online presence and Udemy, they go hand in hand, right? If you do a good job outside of Udemy to have a way of, have that online presence, then those people who find you, however they find you, they will come check you out on Udemy. And vice versa, right? Your Udemy people will go check you out outside of Udemy to go check to see what you have outside. So I think they go hand in hand. And it's going to actually, if you have that strong online presence, it's actually going to boost your Udemy revenue as well. So I totally agree with you. So, and yes, you should definitely do that before start thinking about, do I want to sell more courses. Do I want to sell more courses outside of Udemy? In fact, one of the things that I do when I work with people is like the first couple months, we just work on having that solid foundation, like I just mentioned, to attract, engage, nurture, and convert people before they even think about what I'm going to go create and what kind of, other courses can I create outside of Udemy.
So, so now that, how long were you on Udemy before you started moving over to do courses on Teachable?
So the way we started moving away, doing stuff outside of Udemy, was we were there for about a year, and we decided to take the Udemy course and turn it into a book. And that's that was our first product outside of Udemy. And then we launched another course on Udemy. That was our second course. And then after that, we thought, okay, this is really good. So let's just try to, create another more comprehensive course. And that was our first one outside of Udemy.
I see. Yeah, that's one of the things that the conversation on Udemy is and I think maybe we were talking about this too, shorter courses and then maybe the larger courses the where a master course or something like that. But you're saying that those kind of courses are better to build on a platform like Thinkific or Teachable because they're more likely to get the kind of students who are going to pay the higher prices that you would be able to charge, because on Udemy we know that you can charge whatever you want, but Udemy is going to put it on sale. Absolutely. And typically it's going to be $9.99 or $11.99. I don't think I've seen anything on sale recently above $14.99.
Yeah. No, it's always the highest you get is $14.99. Yeah.
Yeah. But that formula works. I mean, otherwise Udemy wouldn't be around. So, I mean, we talked about that before we came on here, that you talk with people who are on Teachable and they don't like the whole idea of Udemy because of the pricing structure. But we also talked about that. I know several instructors that are making a lot of money on Udemy. Now they are branching out in other places. Like we talked about Phil Ebner. He's got his video school online, which, he's killing it with that, but he's still making a really nice, healthy income on Udemy. And then he's on Skillshare, and he also uses ConvertKit, you and I. So, speaking about ConvertKit, that's somewhere where I haven't gone yet with ConvertKit, and maybe you can talk about this a little bit more, because it's a great tool, and I'm starting to get into Shopify, and I know that it has the connectability with Shopify, but with Teachable and Thinkific, it can connect to that, so it can show you where somebody on your email list where they're at in the process, right?
Absolutely. And not just, ConvertKit is one of the email marketing platforms out there. There are other ones as well. Yeah. And Teachable, and I don't know too much about Thinkific, but I think that those two, they have a lot of integrations between all these different popular email marketing platforms, which is great. You're right about that. You can know where, if you have lead magnets, you have freebies on your website, it would let you know where those people came from, what they actually opted in to get. And then also when they buy your courses, you would know who bought what course and who was interested in your course. So they have all those integration in place that you can take advantage of. So you're absolutely right about that.
Yeah. So once somebody's on Teachable or Thinkific, or even with yourself, how often are you marketing to students with through email?
My rule is you got to always be marketing, right? And when I say marketing is you're not always selling them stuff, but you're always nurturing them. So from the moment someone joins your list, the very first thing that they're going to get is a welcome email where you just, so you're nurturing them from that very first email. And I usually tell people at least, send emails every 3 to 5 days. And it's a combination of giving them information and also not just educating them and give them a little actionable advice. So things that they can go do and feel good about themselves. And it all depends on what you're selling, right? So if you already have a product that's outside of Udemy, what you do is when they join you, then, you just nurture them for a while, maybe for a couple of weeks, and then eventually you start talking about your offer. If you're done with that and they haven't bought, then you go back to nurturing them. So you constantly are nurturing them. You're constantly selling emails. And then you got to balance that out with, selling stuff to them and also helping them. That's the only key. That balance is what's going to help you at the end of the day.
How often are students like reaching out to you? I know like on Udemy, they have like the messaging system when a student has a question. Mm-hmm. Do you find that you're helping students out often, or is the course giving them enough information where they can pretty much go at it on their own?
So every course right now, currently we have over 100,000 students enrolled into all of our courses. Some of them are like the online program that I have, which is, how to build your online business by creating online courses. That course, I don't get a lot of questions because it's just very self-explanatory. I walk them through all of that. Something more like we have a development and design course where people will try things, design related or development related, and they have questions about like this code didn't work. Then we get a lot of questions through those. So it depends on the course, but I would say on a daily basis, combination of 6 courses that we have, we get about 6 or 7 questions every day. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, to add that's if you have an online presence outside of Udemy, that's the best way also to convert those questions into people to come over to you, right? Someone has a question and, let's say for my online business, someone asks me a question about, how do I market to people? And I said, well, you need to start by getting people on your email list. If you don't know how to do that, I have this amazing resource that you can go check out, right? So I have this long article on step-by-step instructions of how to build your online presence, how to get someone on your email list. And on that, I have a freebie. I have a lead magnet. So boom, I just brought someone over from Udemy to my platform, got them on my email list. So that's how you sort of tap into these questions, tap into your students to drive that traffic back to your own platform. Mm-hmm.
You have any like suggestions that you can give those who are watching now or later on like just a tip on how like to get somebody onto their email list?
Absolutely. So definitely, you have to have that system outside, right? You have to have a website. The way I usually tell people to do it is don't just have one generic, freebie to give out to everybody. Look at your course and see, how you're helping people. What's that process, that you're walking people through, and pick out little slices of, little freebies that you can sprinkle around your website with really useful articles, right? And then Udemy allows you to do announcements, educational announcements. That's one way you can tap into that. You can send them an email and say, if you enjoyed my course, there is this other resource that's going to help you take it further. And then drive them. Udemy is okay with that. You can give them information, drive them to that article, and have a freebie that is related to that article on there. And if they happen to opt in, then there you have one subscriber on your list. So that's one way you can definitely do that. Other ways you can do it is you can very organically insert those resources inside your course. So as you're creating your course, if it gets to be too much, you can just, break it up and say, you can go ahead and check out this article on building your email list and then drive that traffic over to your site. They read the article. Again, there's a freebie there. So just, you got to get clever about how to use your website and how to drive that traffic from Udemy over to your website. Yeah,
that's something that, I've been doing a lot, is just trying to build lead magnets, and you would be surprised at like how easy it can be to get somebody to sign up for your list, but you also want to make sure that it's targeted to somebody that you're actually going to be able to convert, rather than somebody that's just going to take your freebie and then that's the last that you'll hear from them. Mm-hmm. But
absolutely. The keyword you just used, you're right about that, targeted. And that's exactly why, you want to start out with an article that is related to the thing that you want to, it's in between the thing that you want to sell and the thing they opted in. So that if they opted in to get that freebie, then because that's related to the article, it's related to your offer, then chances are they're going to be interested in that offer. So you're absolutely right about that. Targeted audience, targeted subscriber is the key.
Great. That's good information. Hey, so are you and your husband using things like Facebook ads or using like Google to drive traffic to your lead magnets in your courses?
Currently, we're not. And here's the thing: a lot of people might not know this. If you are running Facebook ads to sell a $10 course on Udemy, you're wasting money. You're just throwing away money, right?
Yeah.
Facebook ads only work if you have an offer that's more than $1,000, right? And then you have a process in place where, you sort of grab that audience, that person, that prospect, and you sort of navigate them through that journey, like that marketing journey, and bring them over, and maybe along the line, give them little bits of, lower priced products, and then eventually warm them up to buy that bigger priced products for you to actually make any money. Otherwise, you're either losing money or you're just evening out.
Yeah.
For us, and for my clients also, I always advise there's so many other ways to organically and authentically get people on your list and sell to them that honestly you don't really need any kind of ads, right?
Yeah.
So,
well, it sounds like it's working for you because your course on Udemy is how to get to a six-figure income with online courses, and that doesn't necessarily mean Udemy courses. It means like off of Udemy, beyond Udemy, and also into things like coaching and speaking gigs. Let's go back to like the coaching a little bit. What would you suggest, like somebody who's an expert in their field right now on Udemy, and let's say they're not on Teachable yet? You have some advice how they would get their first coaching gig?
Absolutely. So let me just give you this little story. I started my business like the day that I said, okay, I'm opening up doors right now to this coaching business. I only had a website. I made sure that I have a good lead magnet on it. But it was very important for me to have a Udemy course. So I opened up business with a Udemy course on Udemy. I had my first coaching client 2 weeks after I said, doors are open. And it wasn't just a coaching client. It was someone who enrolled into my mentorship program, which is $6,000. So I'm telling you that story is because it's really not that hard. If you're taking the right steps to build that authority, to show to people that you can get them that outcome, it's not that hard to get them to your site, show them, that you can get them results, and charge them, a good amount of money to give them that result. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's one of the ways you can do that. If you are, if you know what you're doing, if you know your stuff, that's one way. Let's say if you're a developer and you have courses on Udemy about development, there are people who are not going to get the results that they're after just by going through your online course on Udemy or other places. They probably might not need, they might need some hands-on or, hand-holding. You can offer workshops, group workshops, and charge, money for that. You can do one-on-one coaching with them to teach them, to get them faster, to get them the result that they're after faster. So that's one of the best ways also to have that extra revenue stream outside of Udemy.
Yeah, and I think it also like when I think this was even before Udemy. The area that I live in here in the Boise area is not like like a big city or anything like that, but it's definitely not small area. So I started getting into networking. So what is it, meetup.com or something like mm-hmm. that? Mm-hmm. Go out and find like a business group, and then go out and start interacting with people locally. And then, like you said, you mentioned workshops. I started doing some workshops. I was teaching people social media. I was teaching them how to do WordPress. And that's kind of like how that evolved into, some of the courses that I had. And then you start to get like people who see you as an authority and want you to coach them so that they can have, success too. So there's that. And then like for you, I've had speaking gigs, but 75 I think was the most people that I spoke to. It's like
That's still awesome. Any kind of speaking
like
is awesome.
Was amazing though.
Thank you.
Do you know the there are towns here in Idaho that aren't even 1,000 people. It's just weird, like when you start thinking like that. You know.
Now you're starting to freaking me out. You're freaking me out. I don't want to do this because this is going to be my first one in front of a large audience like that as well.
Yeah, but those are all people that are potential clients for you. So that's why, you know, it's important that somebody, if they have like a skill, I know that there's somebody, if he's still watching, that is an expert like on Etsy and drop shipping and stuff. And why aren't they like out like teaching a workshop locally and then turning it into something like a speaking gig where they can teach a larger audience, something like that? Because that platform is huge. And I know that there are people out there who are the crafty type that are eager to learn that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. I'm actually right now working with a client who that's how she started. She helps people write their memoirs. She's a copywriter, and she actually started in her own little small town, going into libraries and running small 1-hour free workshop, out of which she got coaching clients who would, you know, sign up to work with her one-on-one to write their own memoirs. So you're absolutely right about that. Opportunities are like endless. To, you know, to just look around your local area and just see where you can go to do a little, you know, just do a presentation about what you do and how you can upsell that to your offers, whatever that is, your coaching, your workshops. So absolutely a great way.
So before we wrap things up today, there's a couple more things that I wanted to talk about. Is that what are some things that you can suggest for instructors to do besides some of the things that we've talked about, like coaching and speaking, and we've even brought up a book? Can you think of some other things or some advice that you could give them on that?
Social media. I mean, definitely you want to have a social media presence, and you got to be strategic about how to use it, right? So I see a lot of people look at social media as, I'm just going to get on there and post stuff randomly. So if you look at social media as a content marketing strategy, and figure out how you can post strategically where you're taking people from, you know, again, think about where they are and where they want to be, and eventually like walk them through that steps by your posts, by your, you know, maybe live videos. That's also a huge, you know, opportunity to tap into. Don't be everywhere on social media. Pick like 1 or 2 platforms that works best for your audience and your personality, and of course your niche, and then just be really, really good, strategic, and be present every day. Maybe that means having your own Facebook group, you know, nurturing people inside your Facebook group. But definitely tap into, you know, be strategic and tap into social media to gain more followers and set yourself up as that authority.
Yeah, I think that there's a huge potential with Facebook groups. And even though we're broadcasting this to my Facebook group, it's for instructors to place their course coupons. So there's not really any other dialogue that's going on, because I just kind of let it go to what it is now, when there's like over 4,000 members. So if I talk about something like marketing, or even, you know, what we're doing right now, even though this is at the top of the group, is to get like at least some of those 4,000 to come watch something like this, because you're sharing good information that could potentially help them make more income. But the Facebook groups, I have seen people talk about like how you can monetize a Facebook group. How do you use, like, do you have a Facebook group where, because I know that you're active on the Teachable group, right?
Yeah, I do have a Facebook group, and I call my group like my tribe. I'm there, and I don't look at it as I'm there to monetize. But then out of that, I get coaching clients. And believe it or not, my speaking engagement came out of my Facebook group. So the way I use it, and that's how I recommend everybody, no matter what platform for social media you're using, especially Facebook group, is that just try to show up every day and help people. You know, that's my biggest thing. If you go in with the, you know, thought of, I'm going to go there, help my people, they will, you know, see you as that person who can get them that results, and they will ask you to help them, you know, get further. by, signing up for your offers, signing up to, to do coaching with you. So if you do it right, yeah, that's an amazing, Facebook groups are an amazing way to monetize, get more clients. Absolutely.
Yeah, because you're going to get much more engagement. It used to be that you could get good engagement on a Facebook page, but of course, over the course of time, Facebook monetized Facebook, and that's how Mark Zuckerberg is one of the richest people in existence now. But you have to pay to play. And
absolutely.
yeah, so groups kind of became the thing because they've made some really good changes to groups. And, I was actually, before I started my day, I was laying in bed with my smartphone and I was logging into my Facebook pages. And I like now that, so it used to be that in your personal pages, when they started doing the stuff with where you could put the little patterns at the top in your post, that's cool because that stands out in somebody's feed more than just a standard post. And we all know that video is what gets the highest engagement in Facebook now. So if you're somebody that's wanting to do this and build your online presence, then Facebook Live is a good way to do that. Ellie and I are using Be Live TV, which is a great platform for that. I also use Ecamm Live, which is for the MacBook. But with those things at the top, it really stands out. But in this group, at the top, I don't have that capability. Only a few groups. It hasn't rolled out to every group, but every Facebook page now that I have, I can do that. So when you ask a question or something, it stands out so that's a way to get more engagement to make things stand out. But I
don't have that either in my group. So that's interesting.
Yeah, I know. It's
it's a new feature.
What's that?
It's a new feature that just rolled out?
It's been around for a while. So you know how on your regular profile, you have the backgrounds with the moon or the little Facebook characters and stuff like that?
Yeah.
They've moved that into groups now. So you can do that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
On some of the group postings and your Facebook pages too. And you do know that you can connect your Facebook group to your Facebook page, right? Yeah,
that's actually that's an important thing to do. I'm glad you mentioned that because your personal page, right? You're talking about business page or Facebook business page?
On what now? I'm sorry.
Were you referring to connecting your Facebook group to your personal Facebook page or to your business page?
No, you can tie your business page to your group that's associated with that. So
that's really good. Yeah, one of the things that I've been doing, and I'm coaching everybody else to do it as well, is to tap into their personal Facebook page, because personal Facebook page gets a lot more engagement than your business page. Also, when you're out there, because one of the strategies that I use is you tap into other people's Facebook groups by answering questions, leaving comments. And Facebook doesn't allow you to do that with your business page. So if you are active on your personal page and you do that inside other Facebook groups, when people follow you, then your Facebook page, your personal page is connected to your group. So you're going to have an easier time getting those people on your group. So I don't know, for what it's worth, that's one of the strategies that I've been using that it seems to really work as well.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
So instead of connecting your Facebook business page, connect your personal page to your Facebook group. Because your Facebook personal page gets more engagement than your business page. Yeah. And when you are inside other Facebook groups, other people's Facebook groups, and if you leave comments or if you interact with those people, you can't do it with your business page. You have to do it with your personal Facebook page. So that way, when people follow you, they can see your group being linked to your personal page. So I don't know.
You have to be careful, though, with doing any type of business, though, on your personal page. I mean, you can, but it can't be specifically for that. And the other thing that I noticed when I was helping a client out the other day, so when you create your business page, it gets linked to your personal profile. They created a separate account specifically for their business page. And I said, you can't do that a personal account is only for a person. And if Facebook finds out, they can shut down
Absolutely.
profile, and then you lose like your page. So we connected him as admin. So if that happened, he still had access. Had access to his page, his business page. But anyway, that's some good advice, and it's about time for us to wrap it up. So I wanted you to finish with any other like words of advice that you have for those who are watching and those who are going to watch after.
I guess we've covered everything. I mean, I'm just going to stress the importance of, if you are really after creating a good passive income, think about how you can have a way to get people on your list. Have your presence outside of Udemy, how to have a list, and how to be able to have different, income streams outside of Udemy as well. Mm-hmm. So if you follow that path, then you're going to get to a place where you are that authority. People will seek you out. And, then hopefully you'll have that freedom, location freedom and money freedom that you're after and you desire.
Good. Thank you. And because we're talking about online presence, do you have a website that you would like to let people know, or a Facebook page?
Sure, absolutely. So you can find me at elinatoli.com. And I'm actually very active inside my Facebook group. That's where I'm always helping people, answering questions. And that is, and I can drop it in the comments area here as well. Yep. It's buildgrowthrive.club. So I'll drop both links in the comments area as well. But they can, you can find me on my website or inside my Facebook group.
Good. And this is being broadcasted in the Facebook group for instructors, and you can find, I have a website, even though I'm guilty. Well, I have several websites, but this one is the online course insider.com. And that's got some blog posts. Plus, I've done a lot of interviews like this, besides the one that I'm doing with Ellie, that other instructors all the way back to the days of Alan Hill. Mm. And so you're familiar probably because
yes, I
am. You won't know who he is, but he's gone on to other things. But you can look at that hangout that I did with him and a bunch of other instructors, including Phil, when he was still getting started and all of that. So yeah, you can find that there, or DennisJSmith.com. I appreciate those who took the time to watch, or if you watch this later somewhere else, thank you for watching, and you can get a hold of either of us by putting it in the comments wherever it might be online, or you can get in touch with either of us. Okay.
Thank you so much. It was
Thanks,
great
Ellie.
being here. Thank you.
Yeah, great talking with you. Okay.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.